You know, I'm going to fall back on pragmatism, and I believe I am a really dyed-in-the-wool pragmatist in a lot of ways. To me, any kind of dualism is artificial, and it's a product of consciousness. Okay, consciousness relies upon abstraction, and abstraction is ingrained in everything we perceive, even sensory data. When you think about how you see, if you see things in color, well, color is an abstraction of certain wavelengths of light. We can, we view color in a way that's, our eyes can be deceived by a television, for example. All you need is a television with 3 primary colors, but what you can see is a spectrum, because of the way even our retina abstracts light in order to be able to categorize it and to be able to make abstraction of it so that we can see it. Okay, abstraction occurs at every level of the human consciousness, even down to the raw sensory input level. Hearing, for example, we hear fundamentals with overtones and harmonics. We don't hear individual frequencies. We hear songs that are aggregated in terms of harmonies and fundamentals. It's just the way the hearing works and the way it organizes that sensory data, even before it hits our brain, the way it's organized to send to the brain. There's all kinds of abstraction that occurs at every level of the human physiology. All neural activity is abstraction, at its base level. And the idea that there's this dualism, there's no real dualism. You have an abstraction which you call the mind, an abstraction which you call the body, and they've got pretty good defined boundaries, in terms of one containing the other, but the boundaries are very fuzzy. For example, your body is not the molecules. Your molecules get switched around, every couple of years. I forget exactly how long it is, but every molecule in your body gets swapped out for a different one, on a regular basis. Old cells die and things, just your body is an organization. Your mind is an organization, all right? And you perceive that organization as an abstraction, okay? And to say that there's a separate mind and a separate body, I think just doesn't make any sense. Not in a universal sense. It's useful to talk about the distinction between mind and body, and that dualism can be useful in terms of trying to explain the locality of certain events or certain functionality. But that functionality and those events are abstractions too. It's all abstraction. And that's how the conscious organizes itself. It's how it's able to perceive reality at all. So I think that any dualism at all is manufactured. Even the dualism between the mind's abstractions and that abstraction which is the laws of the universe, whatever they may be. Okay, so there's some substrate that supports our existence, and I have my beliefs about it. I tend to be a Platonist as far as that's concerned, that there are some mathematical laws, but I don't know what they are. We can guess about the things that seem to have some significance in what we observe, and that, of course, is the scientific method. But we don't know for sure what the base laws of existence are. and whether they're mathematical or whether there's something else on top of mathematics, or there's a lot we just can't know about that. We approach things from being sort of encapsulated by it. So our minds can never directly perceive reality because we are contained by reality. Okay, so I'm a pragmatist, 100%, 100% pragmatist, and I find the abstractions useful, and I use them a lot, but I do not think that because they're useful that they're absolutely true. Okay, because there's absolutely no way of proving it. Okay, they just happen to be useful. So, useful abstractions that we use for predicting the world and functioning within it, being able to reason within it, and it enhances our survival skills when you come down to it. That it's a lot of this stuff. It's hard to see how we could have evolved any other way. That this is the product of our minds are the product of evolution and our survival. And it's not meant to understand the absolute truth in any regard. It's just incapable of it. We're just far too small and puny. So, anyways, that's all I'm going to say for now. Thanks.